Hey guys, this is Tony and we're back on the bench. And this evening, we're going to be getting into doing a little reassembly service here on a new reel that I've never actually worked on before. We're looking at a Okuma Convector. This is the 45L, right? And as you can see, it's already been disassembled. I did that in a separate video. This is going to be for the reassembly. This reel, it's in pretty decent shape actually. It was very clean, so it didn't really take a lot of time to just to get the parts and, whatnot cleaned up. All right, so we're going to start simply here with the bearing here on this side. Okay, you can see it's kind of a small bearing, okay, but it's in good shape. And all we really need to do is just apply a little bead of oil to that, okay, and we're good to go there. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Pop our cap back on here. Okay, but we've cleaned out this inner housing here. Okay, and it's all in really good shape as well. There's not really a lot that needs to go on here. Okay, essentially, it's mostly plastic in here for the most part. Okay, but yeah, we want to make sure we get all the old grease out, which we have. So next is our bridge assembly with our main gear and clutch kit. All right, so we start with this Teflon washer. Right, and then we've got a main gear here. I actually did forget to clean out the teeth here. So what we've been doing is we've been using some penetrating oil and some toothbrushes and some Q-tips, and we're just cleaning up all the parts. It's real simple. It's a simple process that you can do on pretty much any fishing reel, okay, and it'll give you really good results if you take the time to do it, okay. All right, so we've got our gear teeth nice and clean. All right, we're going to pop that back in there. All right, and then we've got our clutch kit. Okay, we've got a drag washer here. These are not carbon fiber washers, really. These are they have more of a plastic kind of property to them, and so they're really not designed to be lubed per se. So we're putting those on dry as well as these metal ones. But I suppose you probably could upgrade these to carbon fiber washers if you really wanted to. We got a keyed washer here, or an eared washer, whichever you like to call it. Okay, and then we got a regular drag washer. Okay, and then we've got this tension washer, so to speak. It goes on top there. Okay, we've got a sleeve that goes on top of that, and then we've got our roller bearing. This roller bearing is self-lubricating, so you really do not need to do much there. If you want, you can do the lightest bead of grease, and I mean very light. Don't overdo it to this sleeve here, right? And that will just prevent any rust damage that could incur on those roller bearings, but keep it very light because you don't want this grease getting down into your drag kit. Okay, so that's essentially all you need to do, or you could put it on dry if you wish. That's fine. Okay, and now we've got our two springs that go in these positions here. And then we got our pinion gear. Okay, we've cleaned up these teeth and pinion yoke as well. We're going to take a little bit of our Pen Precision blue grease to the yoke as well as the gear. Okay, and that's going to help ensure that we have a good ample amount of grease on those gear teeth and on the yoke. We're going to prep those. And then we've also got our eccentric, which we'll just apply a little bit of blue grease on the back side here, because that's the moving contact point essentially. Now we've prepped those pieces, but we also need to prep this as well, the main gear. Okay, and again, we don't want to be getting this in the drag stack. We just want to be getting it only on the gear teeth. So we're just going to gently get some grease. We don't need to hit every single tooth on here. We just want to get enough. It'll work its way around as it spins, as you turn it. Okay, that's good enough there. Okay, so what I find is easiest to do is you put the dog and the spring in this position here, but without this stud, okay, so that it stays loose, because you need to be able to get the main gear back in. Okay, so this is ready to go. We're going to slide this back into position gently like this. Okay, and we're going to turn our bridge here gently so that we can work in here and work around this dog and get this in position where we need it. Okay, because it has to be all the way here at the back in order for it to function properly. Okay, and then you can gently turn this and get this stud where it needs to be with the tension of the spring engaged so that it holds like so. Okay, and it should look something like that. And we need to turn this in position so we get all these pieces lined up. And sometimes you have to get back in there to get that lined up, but then that should be the end result right there. Okay, we got our springs here. We've prepped our yoke and pinion gear assembly like so. We do have to mesh up these gears. Gonna make sure that we have it in the right position like so. Okay, then the eccentric goes on top. All right, and that's ultimately what it should be. We've got our 3 screws that go down here at the base, and these have been soaking in some penetrating oil, so the threads are very well oiled, and furthermore they're going into plastic, so technically you don't really need to lube them, but I like to lube them anyway just to prevent any future rust buildup of any sort, although I think a lot of these parts are stainless steel. And that's technology for us. We've gotten smart over the years about preventing damage to reels from the salt sprays and the elements of the salt water. And that's the end result, is you have stainless steel metal parts or aluminum metal parts, in opposed to brass parts or chromed parts, things of that sort. And we're going to spin up this screw here on the eccentric block or eccentric lever. Okay. And we're just going to go over this just with a tad bit more blue grease here on top, just for good measure. Okay. And we're just going to do a little bead of blue grease right here as well, because that is a metal on metal mechanism right there. And just do a tiniest little bit of blue grease up here as well. Okay. So that functions as it should. Now we're going to go to the other side of the reel here, right? So we've taken some time here to clean up in here, right? I'm just going to apply another little bead of oil down here. We did one earlier. So that gear set down there, that is a plastic gear set. It doesn't actually require any grease or anything, but you just want to make sure that it is clean. Now it does mate with a metal gear back here. Okay, however, it doesn't actually require grease when it's metal on plastic like that, so to speak. You can put a little bit on there if you'd like. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, and then for under here, which I haven't gotten around to doing this yet, we're just going to take a toothbrush here to this worm gear. Okay. We're just going to make sure that that worm gear is nice and clean, which it is. All right, this reel has very low miles on it. Okay. So then we're going to have a quick look here, and we're going to go back in here just with a little bit of blue grease here on the gear teeth on this side. Okay, as well as a little bit here on this side. And that's really all you got to do there. I'm going to pop that back into position like so. Okay. Then we also have our pawl here. Want to make sure that those teeth are nice and sharp and clean. You go to put that back in. And what I do here is I'll just do a little bead of oil across here. Okay, as well as a little bead of oil here on the pawl itself. Okay, and that's going to help it seat properly down in there. You want to make sure that it's all the way nested down there in the groove before you go applying this cap. Okay. And we're just going to turn that up gently, like so. And you should be able to turn the spool and see that moving back and forth like that, which it is. So that's a good deal there. Okay, back with this side of the reel. Snaps in place like so. Okay, we've got our two concave washers here. Okay, and these can be set up in different configurations depending on how much tension you want. I think they went back on in the same direction, if I recall correctly. So we're going to aim to put them back that way. And then we've also got these screws that have to go back on one by one. So in short, if you have this reel, or if you're thinking of picking up this reel, you can watch these videos, and that's how you can learn as to whether or not it's a reel that you want to work on, or if it's a reel that you even want to purchase. You know, a lot of the time, you know, people, you know, they go to garage sales or swap meets or, you know, Goodwills and thrift shops and stuff like that, and they find a fishing reel, you know, and, you know, they think it's, you know, maybe a good purchase, you know, but then, you know, they don't know what's involved in taking it apart and servicing it. And then, you know, sometimes they might question as to whether or not it was a good idea or not. And that's essentially what these videos are about. And so you can make those decisions. And if you already own the reel, you can make the decision if you even want to take it apart, or if you want to send it to somebody that works on reels every day, for that matter. So concave washers go back on like so. And there's two of them in this case. Then we got our star wheel. Make sure that that's seated all the way down before you put this retainer ring back on. Okay, and then we've got our handle. Okay, and this is a two-position handle where you can put it here in the middle or put it here at the end. It was on the end, and so we're going to put it back the way that it was. We got our handle nut. That's a 10 mil nut, so you can turn this with a 10 mil nut driver like this, or you can do it with a open end wrench or a 10 mil socket. Okay, and then we've got this little protective cap here that has to go back on. But you have to have this nut in just the right position in order for this to go back on right. I think that's pretty close. Okay. Let's give it a try and see how it performs. Nice and smooth. Okay, we're going to check that free spool, make sure the free spool is happening. Yeah, nice and smooth as it should be. Okay, check our clicker. Oh, that's in good shape there. And we're going to check out our drag and make sure that's holding. Yep, holding real nicely. Make sure you back it off when you're done. So there you have it. That is the Okuma Convector 45L, all serviced up and ready to go. And thanks again for watching. This is Tony with Back on the Bench. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please make sure you do subscribe and hit the notification button. That way it'll give you all the updates as to when there are new videos being posted. And I do intend to have quite a few more coming out shortly, so make sure you stay tuned for those, and we'll see you next time.